Yo, what's good, Money Crew? Today, we're diving deep into one of the wildest economic stories happening right now. How Iran, a country literally sitting on oceans of oil and insane natural resources, somehow ended up with an economy that's basically in freefall. And trust me, the fallout is already hitting way beyond their borders, straight to your wallet. So if you're wondering what's really going on in Iran and why the world should care, hold on tight. Imagine waking up one morning, going to your favorite coffee shop, and finding that your usual cup of coffee now costs double. Not because the beans got better, not because the cafe became fancy, but simply because your money became weaker overnight. So you pay, you go home, you sleep. Then the next day, it doubles again. That is not a nightmare. That's life unfolding right now for millions in Iran. Shop owners change price tags like they change socks. Parents rush to spend their salary the moment it arrives because waiting even 1 week means their money might buy less food. They laugh darkly. Cash? Hide it in rice, oil, soap. Those at least hold their ground while you dream. This is a story of how one of the most resource-rich countries on Earth ended up with an economy that feels like a leaking bucket. No matter how much water you pour in, it keeps draining out. And more importantly, why this crisis doesn't stay inside Iran, but sends ripples across the Middle East, oil markets, and even your own cost of living. As of May 2026, Iran is in the middle of one of the worst economic periods in its modern history. Its currency, the Rial, has lost so much value that people measure it the way doctors measure blood pressure, constantly, anxiously, and with bad news almost every time. In early January 2026, the Rial hit record lows of around 1.4 to 1.5 million per US dollar on the open market. A dramatic plunge that triggered sharp price spikes in essentials. Inflation is soaring in the 40 to 50% range recently, with some official and independent reports hitting over 50% in late 2025. That means the same salary buys less food, less fuel, less medicine, less hope. Imagine your monthly paycheck as a block of ice. Every day it melts a little. By the end of the month, you are holding a small wet puddle and wondering how it used to be a solid block. That is inflation. Now imagine the sun suddenly gets much hotter. That is Iran's inflation. Basic goods become expensive, rent rises, transportation costs more, electricity, food, school supplies, all climb together like a group of stubborn mountain goats, and your salary is the tired hiker trying to keep up. Banks are under stress, businesses struggle to import materials, factories slow down or shut down. Young people, even with degrees, can't find work. And when people can't find work, can't afford food, and can't see a future, something else starts to rise. Anger. That anger exploded into massive nationwide protests starting late December 2025, spreading across nearly all provinces, with calls not just for economic relief, but for deeper change, amid a heavy security crackdown and near total internet blackout. To understand Iran's economy today, we need to go back in time. Not just a few years, not even 1 decade. We need to go back more than 40 years. Before 1979, Iran was closely connected to Western economies. It sold oil, bought machines, traded freely, and its currency was relatively strong. Then came the Islamic Revolution. The political system changed, relations with the United States collapsed, and soon after, Iran was pulled into a long and brutal war with Iraq. Wars are expensive. They burn money the way a bonfire burns wood. After the war, Iran tried to rebuild, but its economy slowly became more controlled by the state and powerful institutions. Competition weakened, efficiency dropped, corruption found comfortable chairs and refused to stand up. At the same time, Iran relied heavily on one main source of income: oil. Think of oil as Iran's salary. When oil prices are high and exports flow, money comes in. When oil is blocked, it's like your employer suddenly freezes your bank account. For years, Iran built its budget, its subsidies, its public jobs, and its promises around oil money. Then politics entered the room again. Because of Iran's nuclear program and regional conflicts, the United States and its allies imposed heavy sanctions. Sanctions are like putting handcuffs on an economy, not just on trade, on banking, on shipping, on insurance, on technology. Iran could still produce oil, but selling it became harder. Getting paid in dollars became harder. Using the global banking system became harder. Imagine running a business, but you can't use credit cards. You can't wire money easily. Many customers are afraid to deal with you, and shipping companies avoid your address. You might still have products, but reaching the market becomes a nightmare. As oil exports dropped, dollars stopped flowing in. Without dollars, the central bank struggled to support the Rial. The currency weakened. Imports became expensive. Inflation took off. To cover budget gaps, the government printed more money, which is like trying to fix a sinking boat by adding more water. It doesn't work. It only makes the flood faster. In 2015, something important happened. Iran and world powers signed the nuclear deal. Sanctions were eased. Oil exports increased. The Rial stabilized a bit. Foreign companies cautiously returned. It was like opening a window in a smoky room. People could finally breathe. But in 2018, the United States left the deal and reimposed sanctions. The window slammed shut. Worse, the room was now even smokier than before. Confidence collapsed. Investors left, the currency fell again, inflation surged. For ordinary Iranians, it felt like building a house only to watch a bulldozer drive through it just as the roof was finished. Sanctions are only part of the story. Iran also suffers from deep internal problems. The economy is crowded with state-linked companies and powerful organizations that don't always compete fairly. Private businesses struggle to grow. Rules change suddenly. Corruption eats into efficiency like termites in wooden beams. Subsidies, meant to help the poor, often distort prices. Money is spent to keep fuel and bread cheap instead of building strong industries. The banking system holds bad loans. The budget runs deficits. The central bank prints money. All of this feeds inflation. It's like trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of stones. You can move, but you will never move fast, and you will tire quickly. When a large economy shakes, the ground around it also moves. Iran is not a small country. It is a regional power. It influences Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and beyond. When Iran's economy weakens, it has less money to support allies. Regional groups feel financial pressure. Trade flows are disrupted. Smuggling increases. And border economies become unstable. Oil markets also watch closely. Iran sits near critical shipping routes. Any tension raises fear of supply disruption, and fear alone can push oil prices up. So a family in Europe paying more for fuel, or a truck driver in Asia paying more for diesel, may feel a small echo of Iran's economic stress. For the United States, Iran is a strategic puzzle. Washington uses sanctions to weaken the government without sending soldiers. Economic pressure becomes a tool of power. The goal is to limit Iran's nuclear program and regional influence, while avoiding a full-scale war that would set the Middle East on fire. But sanctions also hurt ordinary people, so the situation becomes a moral and strategic balancing act. Squeeze the leadership without crushing society. Not an easy line to walk. Inside Iran, young people feel the pressure most. They are educated. They are connected to the world through the internet. They see how others live, but they face job shortages, high living costs, limited opportunities, and a currency that keeps shrinking. Many dream of leaving. This brain drain is like a country slowly losing its best batteries. The device still works, but with less power each year. Protests flare up from time to time, sometimes over prices, sometimes over politics, sometimes over both. And in late 2025 into early 2026, economic pain boiled over into the largest wave of unrest in years, with reports of thousands affected amid a severe crackdown. The economy is no longer just numbers. It is emotions, frustration, fear, hope, and sometimes quiet determination. So what happens next? Let's look at 3 paths. Scenario 1. Slow suffocation. Sanctions stay. Reforms are limited. The economy limps forward. Not collapsing, not healing, just surviving, like a patient on life support. Scenario 2. A deal and relief. Talks succeed. Some sanctions are lifted. Oil flows more freely. The Rial stabilizes. Not a miracle, but a chance to breathe. Scenario 3. A shock. Currency collapses further. Banks face serious trouble. Public anger explodes. This path is the most unpredictable. History shows that when money fails, politics often follows. You may not live in Iran, but you live in a world where oil prices affect your transport, where geopolitics affect your inflation, where financial systems are connected, and where economic weapons are now as powerful as military ones. Iran's crisis is not just about one country. It is about how modern power works, about how money, trade, and trust can build nations or slowly break them. And in the end, Iran's story is a reminder. An economy is not just charts and numbers. It is breakfast tables, school fees, dreams postponed, and hopes that wait for better days. It is the story of a nation rich in resources, rich in culture, rich in history, trying to become rich in stability again. If this video helped you understand the human side of Iran's economic crisis and why it could affect all of us, please hit that like button to show your support. Share it with anyone who cares about global economics, the Middle East, or just how interconnected our world really is. Drop a comment below. What do you think Iran's future holds? Could a new nuclear deal bring relief, or is deeper change on the horizon? I'd love to hear your thoughts and read through everyone. And if you want more deep dives into stories like this, geopolitics, economies under strain, and the people living through them, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay informed, stay curious, because stories like this, they shape the world we all wake up to.